Did you know your sense of smell is the most underestimated superpower you have? We often focus on what we see and hear, but it's smell that acts on us the fastest and in the most primal way. A single whiff can trigger emotions, memories, disgust, or desire in a fraction of a second, long before we even know what's happening. The smell of freshly cut grass can instantly transport you back to childhood. The smell of smoke triggers immediate fear. It's a sense that's both primitive and incredibly sophisticated. Unlike sight or sound, smell doesn't work with images or waves. It works with chemistry. It's a chemical sense, meaning it responds directly to airborne molecules that enter your nose and physically interact with your body. It's not an interpretation of a symbol. It's a real, tangible contact between the world and your nervous system. Every smell is a unique collection of chemical molecules. When they enter your nasal cavity, they bind to about 400 different types of olfactory receptors. The combinations of these receptors allow us to distinguish thousands, maybe even millions of different odors. The brain doesn't see a smell as a single signal, but as a complex pattern of activation, like a chemical cord played on your nerves. What's truly amazing is that smell works even when you're not paying attention. We're constantly breathing, and with every breath, we're reading the chemical environment around us, the people, the food, potential threats, or even the cleanliness of a room. Even if you don't consciously notice a smell, your brain has often already reacted to it, subtly changing your mood, stress levels, or your readiness to act. Smell connects the outside world with the inside of your body in a deeply intimate way. An odor literally enters you, becoming a biological signal that your brain deciphers as safe, pleasant, disturbing, or dangerous. This makes smell one of our most important survival tools, quiet, invisible, yet incredibly powerful. So why does smell act faster than thought? It's because it takes a shortcut in the brain. Unlike information from our eyes or ears, olfactory signals don't first go to the parts of the brain responsible for logic and analysis. Instead, they travel almost directly to the limbic system, the brain's ancient hub for emotions, instincts, and memory. This is why a scent can provoke a reaction before you can even name it. The limbic system includes the amygdala, which handles fear and pleasure, and the hippocampus, which stores memories. When a smell activates these areas, your brain immediately assigns it emotional meaning. Good or bad, safe or dangerous. This is why a scent can trigger a flood of memories or a strong physical reaction like a racing heart or a smile, all before you've had a single conscious thought about it. From an evolutionary standpoint, this makes perfect sense. For millions of years, smell was a primary survival tool. It warned our ancestors of spoiled food, toxins, fire, or predators. The brain still treats smells as urgent messages that demand an immediate response, not a lengthy analysis. In the wild, thinking is a luxury, reacting is a necessity. Smell is hardwired into our biology, not our language. We don't need to understand a smell to react to it. It hits the brain via the shortest possible route, ignites our emotions and instincts, and only later, if at all, do we try to name it and make sense of it. That's why a particular scent can take control of our behavior before we have a chance to tell ourselves, "Calm down, it's just a smell." Let's dive deeper into how this amazing process works. It all starts with those invisible chemical molecules floating in the air. For a molecule to become a smell, it needs to be volatile, meaning it can travel through the air. It also needs to dissolve in the moist lining of our nose. High up in your nasal cavity, there's a small patch of tissue called the olfactory epithelium. It's covered in mucus, which might not sound glamorous, but it's essential. The mucus dissolves the odor molecules, allowing them to make contact with millions of olfactory neurons embedded in the tissue. This area is so vital that it is one of the few places in your body where neurons can regenerate throughout your life. Each of these neurons has a specific receptor on its surface, a protein designed to bind with certain chemical molecules. Remember, we have about 400 types of these receptors. A single odor molecule can activate several different types of receptors at once, and with varying intensity. When a molecule binds to a receptor, it triggers a chain reaction inside the neuron, creating a tiny electrical impulse. This signal travels up to the olfactory bulb, which is the brain's first processing station for smell. The olfactory bulb is like a biological decoder. It organizes the incoming signals, creating a unique activation pattern for each smell, almost like a chemical barcode. The brain doesn't read individual signals. It analyzes the entire pattern. This is what makes our sense of smell so flexible and powerful. It can recognize an enormous variety of odors, even ones we've never encountered before. From the olfactory bulb, the signals are sent directly to those deep, ancient parts of the brain responsible for emotion and memory. And it's only there that the raw data becomes a meaningful experience. The smell becomes pleasant or repulsive, familiar or strange, safe or alarming. This entire journey from molecule to emotion happens in a split second. During that time, there's no logical thinking or comparison. The brain just reacts. Our sense of smell is like a chemical radar, constantly scanning the world and delivering information faster than our conscious mind can keep up. This direct link between smell, emotion, and memory is why scents have such an incredible power to transport us through time. When a smell reaches your brain, it goes straight to the limbic system. That's why we don't just remember a smell. We experience it. The hippocampus, the key structure for long-term memory, is just a few connections away from the olfactory bulb. This means a scent can be stored in your memory almost instantly, along with the complete emotional context of that moment. Your mood, your feelings of safety, fear, or joy. Unlike images or sounds, which our brain often organizes and cleans up, smells are stored in their raw, primal form. That's why they can resurface years later with such sudden, intense power. Childhood is a particularly important time for creating these scent memories. A child's brain learns about the world primarily through emotions, not logic. The smells of home, of a favorite meal, or of a loved one's skin are encoded together with feelings of closeness and security. We don't analyze these smells as kids, we simply live them. When that same scent appears years later, the brain doesn't just recall a memory. It recreates the emotional state you were in when you first experienced it. This is why a smell can trigger a reaction that is more powerful than an old photograph or a favorite song. It can bring back forgotten images, feelings, and even physical sensations. These olfactory memories aren't just stories we tell ourselves. They are active experiences. Emotions strengthen the memory of smells, and in turn, smells intensify our emotions. A pleasant aroma can lower stress and build trust, while a smell associated with a past danger can trigger an instant defensive response. Our brain uses smell as an early warning system, storing chemical traces of our past experiences throughout our entire lives. And that's why the smells of our childhood are so irreplaceable. You can't just relearn them with the same intensity as an adult. They are stored in the deepest layers of our memory, created long before we learned to think logically and organize the world. Smell is the oldest sense in the history of life, a fundamental tool for survival that emerged in the very first organisms. It was a simple, brutal binary. Is this chemical good for me or will it kill me? Food or poison? That was it. This basic ability to detect what supports life versus what threatens it was the first language of survival. Over millions of years, this primitive chemical detection evolved into the incredibly complex olfactory systems we see today. It wasn't just about finding food anymore. It was about assessing its freshness, its nutritional value, and its safety. Smell became the world's first quality control inspector, the original tool for interpreting the environment. Just as important was its role as an early warning system. The scent of smoke, decay, or a predator's presence was a blaring alarm long before any danger was visible. In a world without reliable light, smell worked at a distance, through darkness and concealment. Organisms that could accurately read these airborne messages had a much better chance of surviving and passing on their genes. Smell was the silent guardian of early life. It was also the original matchmaker. In countless species, scent is the language of love or at least of reproduction. Pheromones, those invisible chemical signals, carry detailed information about sex, health, and genetic compatibility. This form of communication predates any sound or gesture, determining who mates with whom and ensuring the continuation of the species. For our mammalian ancestors, the world was a map of smells. Before vision took over as the dominant sense, scent guided them through the landscape, helped them find shelter, and allowed them to recognize members of their own group. Even in us humans, who rely so heavily on our eyes, the echoes of this past are wired directly into our brains. Our olfactory system is deeply connected to the parts of the brain that govern instinct, emotion, and memory. That's because for millions of years, those very functions were dictated by what we could smell. Now, let's be honest. When we think of a powerful sense of smell, we probably don't think of ourselves. Compared to dogs, elephants, or even rodents, our human noses seem pretty pathetic. We hear about animals that can track scents from miles or sniff out diseases, and it feels like we've been left in the evolutionary dust. But is that the whole story? Did we truly lose our sense of smell? The answer is more complicated than a simple yes. It's not so much that we lost our sense of smell, but that we changed how we use it. As our ancestors evolved, vision and abstract thought became far more critical for survival. Moving through open savannas, developing complex social structures based on facial expressions, and creating language meant natural selection started prioritizing other senses. As a result, some of our olfactory receptor genes were deactivated. They're still there in our DNA, like fossils, a record of a time when our priorities were different. It wasn't a sudden loss, but a gradual shift. Think of it as a company restructuring. The department wasn't shut down, its budget and staff were just reallocated to more pressing projects. But here's the fascinating part. Recent research shows that humans can still distinguish a staggering number of scents, far more than we ever thought possible. The problem isn't our hardware, it's our software. In our modern, sanitized world, we've been trained to ignore our noses. We mask odors with perfumes, live in climate-controlled boxes, and treat scent as a matter of aesthetics, rather than a source of vital information. Our sense of smell hasn't disappeared. It has simply fallen silent because our brains have stopped listening to it. So, did our ancestors have a better sense of smell? Almost certainly. In a world without refrigerators, streetlights, or GPS, being able to recognize the freshness of meat, the presence of a predator, or the direction of a storm by its scent was a life or death skill. For them, smell was a survival tool. For us, its role has become more subtle, more emotional. It guides us through our social worlds. We can subconsciously detect the smell of fear, stress, or even hormonal changes in others. This proves that our sense of smell is still working, just in a different, more nuanced way. We didn't lose our sense of smell, we just silenced it. And the moment we start paying attention again, we discover that this weakened sense has incredible stories to tell us about the world. For most animals, smell isn't just an accessory to their perception, it's the main event. It's the primary tool they use to understand reality. Where we see a landscape, they smell a detailed, multi-layered map of information. Evolution has pushed their olfactory systems to almost supernatural levels of precision, creating senses capable of detecting a single molecule in a sea of other chemicals. Let's start with dogs, the undisputed champions of scent in our daily lives. They have up to 300 million olfactory receptors, compared to our meager 6 million. A huge portion of their brain is dedicated solely to analyzing smells. For a dog, a scent isn't just a smell. It's a three-dimensional experience. They can separate overlapping odors, tell a fresh trail from an old one, and even determine which direction something was moving just by how the scent molecules are distributed. This is why they can find drugs, explosives, and even detect diseases like cancer or changes in blood sugar, often long before any medical equipment can. Now, let's dive underwater. Sharks prove that smell can dominate even in an environment where scent travels very differently. Their olfactory system is a marvel of aquatic engineering, tuned to detect tiny amounts of chemicals dissolved in water. They can sense the compounds released by an injured animal from far away and pinpoint the source by comparing the concentration of the scent reaching each nostril. In the vast open ocean, smell is their GPS, their compass, and their dinner bell, all rolled into one. But if we're talking about the absolute kings and queens of the olfactory world, we have to talk about elephants. Their enormous trunks are far more than just a tool for grabbing things. They are highly sophisticated chemical detectors. An elephant's sense of smell is believed to be the most powerful in the entire animal kingdom. They can smell water from miles away. They use scent to communicate, recognizing individual members of their herd, their emotional states, and their physical health. For an elephant, scent is the social network. It tells them who's who, where they've been, and how they're doing. And then there are insects, where smell operates on a level that is almost alien to us. For an ant or a bee, the world is a complex web of pheromonal messages that dictate almost every aspect of life. Ants follow invisible chemical highways to find food. Bees recognize the unique scent of their own hive. A male moth can detect the pheromones of a single female from miles away. For them, navigation, social hierarchy, and cooperation are all written in the language of scent. In the animal world, smell is a language, a map, and a memory, all at once. Where we perceive empty space, they read a dense tapestry of chemical information. It's a powerful reminder that the reality we experience through our eyes and ears is just one version of the world. Scent opens the door to another, one that is older, deeper, and for most of life on Earth, the one that matters most. Have you ever noticed how food tastes completely bland when you have a cold? That perfectly brewed coffee suddenly tastes like bitter water and your favorite meal feels flat. Why is that? It's not your taste buds failing you. The real secret is that what we call flavor is actually mostly smell. Our tongues are surprisingly simple. They can only detect 5 basic tastes: sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and the savory taste known as umami. Think of these as the primary colors of food. They give us basic information, like whether something is sugary or acidic. But this is only a tiny fraction of the full experience. The real magic happens in your nose. The rich, complex world of flavor, the aroma of freshly baked bread, the fruity notes in a glass of wine, the fragrant spices in a curry, all of that is thanks to your sense of smell. When you chew, aromatic molecules are released from the food. They travel up a special passage at the back of your throat called the retronasal pathway and into your nasal cavity. There they hit the olfactory epithelium, a patch of tissue packed with smell receptors. These receptors send detailed messages to your brain, which then combines this information with the simple signals from your tongue. The result is what we perceive as flavor. It's a beautiful partnership between 2 senses. So, when you have a cold and your nose is blocked, that crucial pathway is cut off. The aroma molecules can't reach your smell receptors. Your brain is left with only the raw data from your tongue. This is sweet, this is salty. All the nuance, all the complexity, all the personality of the food is gone. It's like watching a movie in black and white. You can still see the shapes and follow the plot, but all the vibrant color that makes it come alive is missing. This is why a juicy apple might just taste generically sweet, and why even the most seasoned dish can seem dull and uninspired. This powerful connection is also a vital survival mechanism. Smell is our first line of defense. The aroma of food tells our brain about its quality and freshness long before we take a bite. It's our built-in warning system for spoiled meat, moldy bread, or toxic plants. But it does more than just protect us. It also brings us immense pleasure. When a scent reaches your brain, it activates the very same reward and pleasure centers that are responsible for making food enjoyable. Without smell, even the most delicious foods feel emotionally flat. The experience loses its intensity because the brain isn't receiving those complex aromatic signals that say, "This is amazing." Let's break it down further. Think of taste and aroma as 2 different languages that your brain translates into one coherent story. The tongue speaks a simple, direct language. It gives you the facts: sweet, salty, bitter. It's a binary system that helps you make quick decisions about what you're eating, mainly for nutritional value and safety. For example, sweetness often signals energy-rich carbohydrates, while bitterness can indicate potential toxins. It's a fundamental, no-nonsense assessment. Aroma, on the other hand, speaks a poetic, descriptive language. It's a world of hundreds, even thousands of different chemical compounds floating in the air. This is what gives food its character and depth. Aroma is how you can tell the difference between a ripe strawberry and an unripe one, or distinguish a Granny Smith apple from a Golden Delicious, just by its scent. It's responsible for all the subtle notes that make food interesting and memorable. While the tongue gives you the basic structure, the aroma fills in all the rich details. Without aroma, food is just a list of ingredients. With it, it becomes a culinary masterpiece. The synergy between these 2 is what creates the full, satisfying experience of eating. Your tongue might tell you a sauce is acidic, but your nose tells you it's a fresh, vibrant tomato sauce with hints of basil and oregano. Together, they create a complete picture for your brain, a picture that we experience as pure pleasure or, sometimes, disappointment. So while we often use the words taste and flavor interchangeably, they are 2 very different sensory worlds that combine to make eating one of life's greatest joys. Aroma gives flavor its personality, and taste provides the foundation. Have you ever thought about why a dish often smells better than it tastes? This isn't just your imagination. It's because our sense of smell is far more complex and sophisticated than our sense of taste. The aroma of a dish can be composed of hundreds of different volatile molecules, all mixing together to create an impression of incredible richness and intensity. When you smell something, like cookies baking in the oven, your brain processes this complex cloud of information as one single delicious promise. Smell always gets the first word. Before food even touches your tongue, its aroma has already reached your brain, setting up expectations about what you're about to experience. This is why the smell of sizzling bacon can make your mouth water instantly. Your brain reads the aroma and prepares your body for digestion. It triggers saliva production and gets your stomach ready for the meal to come. It's an appetizer for your senses. If the aroma is appealing, your brain is already convinced the food will be delicious, which can actually make it taste better. Furthermore, smell is deeply tied to our emotions and memories. The scent of a particular dish can transport you back to your childhood, remind you of a holiday, or evoke a feeling of comfort and home. This is why the aroma of your grandmother's soup might feel more comforting than any other dish, regardless of its actual taste. The brain interprets that scent as a promise of pleasure and security. The taste on your tongue then simply confirms or challenges that initial promise made by the aroma. Did you know that a single scent can change your mood, stress level, or even how you feel about someone in less than a second? It sounds like magic, but it's pure science. Our sense of smell is unlike any of our other senses. When you smell something, the information doesn't take a long, winding road through your brain for analysis. Instead, it travels almost directly to the limbic system, the ancient emotional core of your brain. This is the part that handles emotion, motivation, and memory. This direct connection is why smells can trigger such powerful and immediate reactions, long before your conscious mind has a chance to think about it. Think about the scents that bring you a sense of calm. Maybe it's the soothing aroma of lavender, the comforting smell of vanilla, or the fresh scent of newly cut grass. When you inhale these scents, your brain interprets them as signals of safety and security. Your blood pressure might drop, your heart rate slows, and you feel a wave of relaxation wash over you. This is an evolutionary response, connecting us to environments that our ancestors knew were safe and abundant. The same thing happens with smells tied to positive memories. The aroma of freshly baked bread or cookies can transport you back to childhood, instantly bringing back feelings of warmth, comfort, and love. But just as scents can calm us, they can also put us on high alert. Imagine the sharp, acrid smell of smoke, the pungent odor of spoiled food, or the harsh scent of chemicals. Before you even have time to identify the source, your body is already reacting. Your heart rate quickens, your senses sharpen, and you're flooded with a jolt of adrenaline. This is your fight or flight response kicking in, an ancient survival mechanism that's been passed down for millions of years. For our ancestors who relied on smell to hunt prey and avoid predators, this instant alarm system was the key to survival. For us, it's an evolutionary echo, a built-in warning system that works faster than thought. So our sense of smell acts like an invisible emotional regulator. It can soothe us, warn us, energize us, or even spark desire, all happening beneath the surface of our conscious awareness. It is a powerful biological language that constantly guides our feelings and actions in ways we're only just beginning to understand. Now let's talk about how this invisible language shapes our relationships with other people. You've probably experienced it yourself. You meet someone and feel an instant connection, or maybe a subtle sense of unease, without knowing why. A big part of that first impression is communicated through smell. It's a hidden chemical conversation that influences attraction, empathy, and our judgments about others, all without a single word being spoken. The main way this happens is through a cocktail of chemical compounds, including pheromones, that we release through our skin and sweat. While the role of pheromones in humans isn't as obvious as it is in the animal kingdom, research shows that subtle variations in body odor can influence how we perceive someone's attractiveness and even their genetic compatibility. Our immune systems actually release chemical signals through our scent that other people can unconsciously detect. This might sound strange, but from an evolutionary standpoint, it helped our ancestors choose partners who would give their offspring a more diverse and robust immune system. Beyond biology, smell operates on a deeply emotional and social level. The scent of another person can trigger feelings of safety and comfort, or conversely, a feeling of distance. This reaction is automatic and rooted in that same limbic system we talked about. Your brain quickly labels a person's unique scent as friendly or threatening long before you had time to consciously evaluate their appearance or what they were saying. And then there's the power of olfactory memory. A person's scent can become deeply intertwined with our memories of them, creating powerful emotional bonds. The familiar scent of a partner, a child, or a close friend can trigger feelings of security, attachment, and happiness. It's why a whiff of a specific cologne might instantly remind you of your father, Or why snuggling into a sweater that smells like your partner can be so comforting. On the flip side, an unfamiliar or unpleasant scent can trigger an immediate defensive reaction, making us want to keep our distance. So the attraction we feel for others is a complex mix of biology, psychology, and social conditioning. It's not just about perfumes or colognes, although those can certainly play a role. It's about a deep, instinctual form of chemical communication that shapes our relationships and choices, often in ways we can't even put into words. Every single person has a unique chemical signature, their own natural body odor. It's as distinct as a fingerprint, and it carries a wealth of information about our genetics, health, emotions, and diet. This scent profile is created by a complex interaction between secretions from our sweat glands, oils on our skin, hormones, and the trillions of bacteria living on our bodies. And our brains are wired to decode this information on a biological level. From an evolutionary perspective, our natural scent serves several vital functions. First, it's a tool for social and reproductive communication. It subtly signals our sex, health status, and genetic makeup to those around us, helping guide partner selection in a way that promotes healthy offspring. Second, our body odor is an emotional barometer. When you feel stressed, afraid, excited, or relaxed, your body's chemistry changes. The composition of your sweat changes, different hormones are released, and all of this alters your scent. Other people can unconsciously pick up on these subtle shifts, allowing for a nonverbal, instinctual understanding of each other's emotional states. And third, natural scent is crucial for individual recognition and social bonding. Just like many animals, we can unconsciously identify people we know by their unique scent. Studies have shown that smelling a loved one's clothes like a partner or a child can actually reduce stress levels, lower heart rate, and create a profound sense of comfort and security. This is why a baby is soothed by the smell of their mother, and why the scent of a loved one can feel like coming home. So, even though our modern world is full of perfumes, deodorants, and soaps designed to mask our natural scent, its evolutionary power remains. It's a subtle yet fundamental chemical language that informs, warns, attracts, and builds the bonds between us, all happening in the invisible space around us. Have you ever wondered why certain smells, like spoiled milk or garbage, are so revolting? It's not just you being picky. That feeling of disgust is a powerful ancient survival instinct, hardwired into your brain. Those unbearable odors are actually biological alarms, warning you of danger. From an evolutionary standpoint, stench has always been a sign of trouble-spoiled food, decay, disease, or predators lurking nearby. So when you scrunch up your nose, you're not just reacting to a bad smell. You're tapping into a defense mechanism that has kept humans safe for millions of years. On a chemical level, what we call stench is really just a collection of specific molecules that our noses are programmed to red flag. Think of the sulfur compounds in rotting eggs, the sharp ammonia from urine, or the fatty acids from decomposing matter. When these molecules hit your olfactory receptors, they send an emergency signal straight to your brain's limbic system, particularly the amygdala. This triggers an instant reflexive reaction, disgust, a grimace, and sometimes even nausea. It's your body's way of screaming, "Stay away from that." This reaction is designed to create distance, protecting you from potential toxins and dangerous microorganisms. While our personal tastes and smells can vary based on culture and experience, the aversive response to truly foul odors is universal, a shared legacy of our primal past. Now, imagine if one day all smells just vanished. You couldn't smell your morning coffee, the rain on hot pavement, or even smoke from a fire. This isn't science fiction. It's a real condition called anosmia, the partial or complete loss of the sense of smell. For people with anosmia, the world becomes a far less vibrant and much more dangerous place. Without smell, you lose those critical warning signals for gas leaks, fires, or spoiled food. But it goes deeper than that. So much of our enjoyment of food comes from its aroma, and without it, eating can become a joyless chore. What causes anosmia? It can be something you're born with, but more often it's acquired. Head trauma, chronic sinus infections, and even the natural process of aging can damage our olfactory system. Think about it. Your sense of smell is one of your most important safety features. Our sense of smell also protects us from invisible biological dangers. That sour, rotten smell from food is a clear signal to your body to reject it, preventing food poisoning. This response is both psychological, "Yuck, I'm not eating that," and physiological. The smell itself can trigger changes in your salivation and digestive system, preparing your body to defend against potential toxins. In the animal kingdom, this sense is even more crucial. Predators use it to hunt, and prey use it to detect predators and avoid danger. For humans, the principle is the same. Smell is our first line of defense against a world of unseen threats. The future of smell research is incredibly exciting, blurring the lines between biology, technology, and medicine. One of the most fascinating developments is the electronic nose. Imagine, a device that can detect and analyze odors with the precision of a bloodhound. Using advanced chemical sensors and artificial intelligence, these noses could identify toxic substances, sniff out environmental pollutants, or even detect diseases long before symptoms appear. This leads us to another groundbreaking field, using smell for medical diagnosis. Research shows that certain diseases, like cancers and metabolic disorders, alter our body odor. In the future, a simple breath or sweat analysis could become a non-invasive way for doctors to monitor our health in real time. Neurobiologists are also diving deep into how smells affect our brains. Smell has a direct hotline to the limbic system, the area controlling emotion and memory. That's why a particular scent can instantly transport you back to a childhood memory. Scientists are exploring how to use this connection to develop new therapies for conditions like depression, anxiety, and even neurodegenerative diseases. And for the truly futuristic, what if we could record and replay smells? It sounds like something from a movie, but with advances in nanotechnology and computational modeling, a future where we can capture and transmit scents electronically might not be so far off. Imagine virtual reality experiences where you can smell the digital world around you. The world of smell is full of amazing curiosities. While your tongue can only detect 5 basic tastes: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and umami, your nose can distinguish thousands of different odors. Every scent, from fresh-cut grass to a new book, is a complex chemical cocktail that your brain deciphers in an instant. Did you know that each of us has a unique body odor, like a chemical fingerprint? It's shaped by our genetics, diet, and even the tiny microbes living on our skin. Evolutionarily, this unique scent signature helped our ancestors recognize family members and choose mates. Our personal scent also changes throughout our lives. A baby smells different from a teenager, who smells different from an elderly person. This is due to shifts in hormones, metabolism, and lifestyle. Your body odor is a constantly updating biological status report, signaling changes in your health and physiology. And perhaps the most mind-blowing fact is how much smell influences our decisions without us even realizing it. The subtle aroma in a store can affect what you buy. The scent of a meal can make you feel hungrier, and a pleasant fragrance can improve your mood and concentration. It's a powerful, unconscious force shaping our daily lives. So the next time you take a deep breath, remember the extraordinary and complex world your nose is navigating for you. See you in the next one.